Welcome back, Micro Pigs. Tommy Post here with Micro Pig Off-Road Club, a micro four-wheel drive dedicated group. Hopefully you guys aren't getting sick of the videos just yet, because frankly, I'm just not sick of making them. So anyhow, today, I want to talk to you guys about just a little old thing that I'll bet some of you have experienced. Maybe not, but some of you certainly have. You ever got in your car and just pushed that clutch pedal in and went to put it into gear, and it was really difficult to get into gear? Of course, that's with the engine running and with all the fluid warmed up inside of the transmission and so on. There are definitely some contributing factors as to why it might be a little tough to get into gear, but sometimes it's something as simple as your clutch slave cylinder. So maybe you did that very thing. You realized it's just tough to get into gear, and even when you're switching from gear to gear while you're driving, it just feels stiff, like you're really just trying to work it into the next gear. Well, maybe you also noticed that your brake fluid was just a touch low, or better yet, maybe you noticed right in this region on the ground underneath, you see a little drop of brake fluid. Well, this is where your clutch slave cylinder happens to live. Right in this area right here. This guy. Oh, what's that? Is that a little wet? Ooh, there's some fresh brake fluid right there. Well, in this case, I'm inclined to believe that I did not get this fitting tight enough when I just replaced mine, which I could tighten that up. That's a 17 millimeter wrench that goes right on there. So the idea is that a slave cylinder works off your master cylinder. You push the pedal, creates pressure up there, travels down that hydraulic line, and pushes on that little slave cylinder. That little slave cylinder then pushes against the shift fork, not the shift fork, excuse me, but the pressure plate fork in your clutch. So it pushes on it. Well, if you are losing hydraulic pressure inside of that thing, and usually you can tell when the seals are blown in it because of the wet brake fluid that you will find. Now it's a real easy replacement, and it looks just like this. So the first thing you're going to want to check when you're under your car is this rubber boot right here. Peel that off and see if there's actually brake fluid coming out right in here. If it is, yeah, that seal's blown. It's just no good. This area right here, that's where your hydraulic line gets threaded right into that, and it's got a crush washer that sits right against this sealing face. And then this is going to be your bleeder valve right here. So the idea, you go and take these two bolts out. I believe those are 12 millimeter. You take your 17 millimeter wrench and you unthread your hydraulic line. Brake fluid's going to pour out. It's going to dump all over the place. So put a pig mat underneath it, or some rags or some cardboard or something, because you're going to lose some fluid. So when you stick the new one right in place, just bolt it right up, put your line on there, tighten it down, but you might have some air in that line. So you want to get somebody to get inside the car, pump on the clutch pedal a little bit, and then hold it to the floor. While it's held to the floor, you take your little 8 millimeter wrench, you crack that, and with this little rubber cap off, you'll see fluid puke up out of there. Now before that pedal is released up off the floor, you tighten it back up again. You pump on it a little bit, stand on the pedal again, and crack it. You'll likely see a big old air bubble shoot right out of that thing. Once you get to the point to where just fluid is coming out of it with no air, then your system is primed again and ready to go. So I will bet you that if you replace that cheap little part, and this thing, under 20 bucks, you can get it on Amazon, you can get it on eBay. If you're paying more than 20 bucks for it, I don't know what to tell you. But it's just a small, inexpensive part that just comes with the territory. You drive underwater, you drive through mud, through sand. They just don't last forever. Of course, anything that has rubber seals inside is not going to last forever anyway. So that's pretty much it, guys. You have some trouble pushing on that, not really pushing on the pedal, but little trouble getting it into gear. It could be something as simple as needing to replace that slave cylinder. Thanks for joining, and that's the quick tip for today.